Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint. Chapter 22. Episode 5, Shadow Keeper, 4. Maybe we would have fought for a long time. The exclusive skill bookmark can now be activated. The number 2 bookmark has been activated. The level of the bookmark skill is low, shortening the activation time. Activation time, 1 minute. Well, I had this. Otherwise my bones might be torn off my bones or my blood might clot. Your understanding of the character is low, so only a part of the character's skill is activated. Weapons training LV.1 has been activated. But it didn't. To be exact, I couldn't afford it. I used all the powers I had. I squeezed out all my strength and ran through the tentacles. Sukak. The landscape around me flashed by. The only thing left was the afterimage of a sharp white light and the sense of cutting something. Your understanding of the character Lee Hyun-sung has increased. The number 2 bookmark has been disabled. I felt like I had lost strength. I had poured everything out in one blow. Then after a while, I heard a trembling voice in the air. See constellations. Did you all see it? I didn't see wrong. It was the appearance of Dakibi Biryu, who had forgotten his duties. In fact, it wasn't strange to be surprised. A few constellations are doubting their eyes. The constellation Abyssal Black Flame Dragon is flaring fiercely. It was a powerful grade 7 demon lying down with damaged tentacles in front of me. The constellation Prisoner of the Golden Headband pulls his hair as if he is pleased. 500 coins have been sponsored. The severed tentacles lay on the ground and the surrounding ground rats had long been killed or fled in the aftermath of the fight. Only the Dark Keeper lay breathing roughly on the ground, its lips twitching. Key. Originally, the grade 7 demon was an enemy that I couldn't cope with. Thus, I was prepared. I wasn't as strong as Yu Jonghyuk and I didn't have a good sponsor like Lee Hyun-sung. The obsessive-compulsive constellations praise your readiness. 200 coins have been sponsored. It was just that the information I had was more advantageous than others. But sometimes, information was more powerful than anything in the world. Keying. The very result of that information was the white light sword now in my hand. An ether blade in the beginning scenarios, see constellations. Is this a true story? Fortunately, I didn't have to explain it as the Dakibi was in full swing. Ether blade. It was the flagship technique of the incarnations supported by the highest level sponsor. The technique was often called Energy Blade in Murim novels. To be exact, it isn't a real ether blade. The real one is much stronger than this. That's right. Strictly speaking, it is broken faith that has absorbed the white pure star energy and made the blade. Looking at the Dakibi, he wasn't a complete idiot. Amazing. There is this guy in that brat Baihyung's channel. As if waiting for this, the blade of faith turned off. Broken faith's durability has run out. This item is no longer available. It was a pity but it did its part. Give me the compensation for finishing the sub-scenario. That's right. W8. Biryu hurriedly entered something in the air and a message soon popped up. You have met the conditions to clear the sub-scenario. You have earned 500 coins. A handful of constellations admire your scenario. The reward was smaller than I thought. It was natural. It was because I haven't killed the Dark Keeper. By the way, are you not going to kill that guy? Biryu looked at me with expectant eyes. I let out an exhausted breath and glanced at the Dark Keeper on the ground. Then I kindly said, I have a non-killing ideology. And non-killing. I'm not someone who kills easily. The constellation Demon-like Judge of Fire admires it. 100 coins have been sponsored. Of course, it was a lie. The constellation's secretive plotter is smiling slyly at you. 100 coins have been sponsored. The bewildered Biryu stammered. But won't the reward be great if you kill this guy? You will be the first to kill a grade 7 demon and I will give you 7,000 coins. Do you know how big 7,000 coins is? I won't kill it. I need to open the compensation box, so please step aside. I removed the irritating Biryu from in front of me. The Dark Keeper wasn't the real reason I came here. So, Pyuk. The grade 7 demon, Dark Keeper, was killed. What? The Dakibi who looked like it was so funny he would die and the Dark Keeper who died with a knife in his chest. Then. Ha 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 ha. And now I can be strong. Kim Dokja, you son of a bitch. You didn't know this. Han Myungo was the one holding the knife. I had a rough idea of what happened. Then explosive messages were heard in my ears. A grade 7 demon has been hunted for the first time. An impossible feat has been accomplished. You have earned 8,000 coins. Contribution, Kim Dokja, Han Myungo. Perhaps these messages were also shared with Han Myungo. I only received a few coins because I didn't deal the finishing blow, but I could see Han Myungo dying with happiness at the messages. Non-killing ideology. Stupid guy. What is killing in this burning world? There can't be a person like you. You know. Then Han Myungo stopped. Now he knew what he had done. The Grade 7 demon Dark Keeper has been killed and the Demon King Asmodeus has noticed the murderer's presence. The Demon King Asmodeus will chase the one who dealt the finishing blow until they are dead. The Demon King Asmodeus has put a terrible curse on the person who dealt the final blow. Final blow, Han Myungo. What? What is this message? Han Myungo cried out fearfully. The constellation, secretive plotter, admires your wickedness. Ah, didn't I tell you? I intentionally didn't kill it. The constellation, secretive plotter, has recommended your scenario to Starstream. Han Myungo stared into the air like he had lost his soul. The curse of the Demon King Asmodeus was the most terrible thing for a killer. I didn't know what it was, but it was surely terrible. I looked back and saw Lee Gil-young and Yu Sanga looking this way with bemused expressions. I smiled as if nothing had happened. We'll open the rewards together. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. After a while, we searched through the treasures and pulled out one each. I got this. I have this. Yu Sanga and Lee Gil-young found a small bracelet and old shield respectively. Magic Power Recovery Bracelet. Old Iron Shield. They were both D-grade items, but it was better than nothing. The Magic Power Recovery Bracelet was a useful item for everyone and the Old Iron Shield would be good for Lee Hyun-sung. It was difficult to ignore the iron in the name. This iron was much harder than Earth's iron. Yu Sanga spoke with slight disappointment. It is less than I thought. Less. Her words weren't wrong. It was too shameful to call this a treasure trove. Yu Jong-hyuk. The guy who left yesterday had probably gone through this place. He knew he would be tired fighting the demon, so he took a chance and stole the treasure. In the end, we were robbing a place that was already robbed. It is okay because the main thing is still left. I looked at a black box in the center of the warehouse. We didn't waste any more time and opened the box. The thing in the box was a stove. It was small enough to fit into a pocket and it was shameful to call it a stove. Magic Power Stove. As expected, it was still here. This item was in fact the key item in this sub-scenario. Magic Power Stove can only be used once per person. Obviously, Yu Jong-hyuk had taken one, so there were 2 Magic Power Stoves in total. What is that thing? Well, I think I know a bit about its purpose. I purposely trembled, activated the stove with magic power and raised a dead ground rat's leg. It was funny since it didn't fit the size of a plate of food, but in 5 seconds, a remarkable change happened to the leg of the ground rat. Wow! A delicious smell. There was a sweet smell and the leg of the ground rat changed to a golden color. Meat! Lee Gil-young cried out excitedly. Yu Sanga asked urgently. See, can we eat this? I'll try it first. I grabbed the greasy hind leg and dug into the flesh. The juices ran from the flesh, I forgot to chew and closed my eyes. Tasting it was different from reading it in the book. A few constellations are drooling. The constellations have sponsored you 100 coins. The constellation Abyssal Black Flame Dragon has swallowed his saliva. The constellation Prisoner of the Golden Headband is biting his nails. The messages continuously popped up. Indeed, eating broadcasts were the best. Everyone was united in front of food. Eat it. I think it is okay. The 2 people rushed towards the meat as soon as I spoke. They hadn't had a proper meal for 3 days, so they would be quite hungry. Han Myungo recovered and came over hesitantly. Didokja SSI, I went crazy for a second. Eat. Don't worry about the other thing. Thank you. You will become a ghost after eating. What? Han Myungo's complexion turned as white as death. I said it like a joke, but Han Myungo really would die. Asmodeus' pursuit was hard. For even Yu Jonghyuk to overcome. We each took one leg and started to eat. We were eating meat together because we were hungry after everything that started. Humans. Couldn't help it. Everyone ate the meal in silence. Was it due to the light spreading gently from the magic power stove? I was feeling a bit sentimental. Killing something and eating it in order to live. This was the life of a human. It had been like this so far, but I wondered why it felt so fresh. Suddenly, I looked up and met Yu Senga's eyes. Yu Senga came to her senses and suddenly cried out. I'm pathetic. Dokja SSI worked so hard and I am just eating like a pig. I was no help at all. No, Yu Senga SSI. That. But how does Dokja SSI know all this? You know how to cook a beast and... that. Indeed. It must be because you read fantasy novels, right? Really, I didn't know the world was going to be like this. My silly self was just memorizing Spanish. I felt somewhat strange when I heard Yu Senga say this. I opened my mouth to comfort her. It is because Yu Senga SSI studied foreign languages that you learned the language of the demon species. Of course, it wasn't very helpful. I see. Thank you, Dokja SSI. I smiled at Yu Senga and got up from where I was sitting. The party was immersed in eating again. I took a break and headed for the back of the party. In fact, the magic power stove was important, but my real purpose was a separate item. I looked closely at the black box that contained the magic power stove. It was this. There was no doubt about it. Yu Jonghyuk, who took the magic power stove, probably didn't know about it. The real treasure of the warehouse was this black box. In the original story, Yu Jonghyuk only knew about this after the 6th round of regression. Who was the first to discover this? Was it Heavenly Maid Hori? Well, it was hard to remember. It wasn't accurate, but it was probably something like this. Over there. There are strange boxes in the early areas. If you put something in there. At this time, I met Yu Senga's eyes. What is the box for? This. Yu Senga said as she looked at the box. There were unknown characters written on the box. Could she read them? Random item box. Damn. This was why foreign language proficiency was important. So that is what it means. I was a bit embarrassed. Yu Senga cried out. Quickly use it, Dokja SSI. Is it okay? Nod. Lee Gil-young nodded vigorously. You don't need to worry about us. All the items obtained here are yours. That is obvious. Yes, I was caught, so let's do it quickly. Then I will use it well. A few constellations are nodding at your decision. I took the nucleus of the grade 7 demon from my pocket. I had cut it from the dead body of the Dark Keeper. In addition, I took out Broken Faith, which had run out of durability. According to the original plot, the use of this box was simple. Who knew? There would be a limited edition coin item. I placed the demon core and Broken Faith into the box. You can't believe me words. Is it real? Put sub-items in there and close the box. In fact, I didn't know what would happen when I put in these 2 items. But I was certain that something huge would come out. A top item will unconditionally come out. A moment later, a dazzling light burst out from the closed box.